Hey everybody, welcome to Wings on Katella. It has been a hot minute. There hasn't been a lot of things going on with the Angels, and then there was, so we're going to talk about that. There hasn't been a lot of things going on with the Ducks because there was this thing called the Olympic break. If you're unfamiliar with that, that's where a lot of countries go and play a tournament, and it's really fun. And we're going to talk about the Ducks, the Olympics, the Angels, and stuff. If you're unfamiliar with us, that's what we do. And with me today are our regular panel cast dudes, guys, friends, buddies, pals, etc. Zach Cavanagh is below me in my screen at least. So hello, Zachary. Zach Cavanagh covers the Anaheim Ducks for the Sporting Tribune. To this way of me, which would be my left, but maybe the right, depending on whatever. Camera angles are weird. That is Jack Janes. Jack Janes, utility man for the Sporting Tribune, covers the Angels, Ducks, Kings, UC Irvine, Cal State Fullerton. Where you at tomorrow? You're at J. Sarah? No,
No, Great Park in Irvine to see Harvard Westlake.
Harvard Westlake. So we're gonna run him around, and down there, over that way, is Mr. Thomas Murray. Thomas Murray covers the Angels, Ducks, and UCLA for certain. Mr. Rochelowski, the man himself. Thomas, good to see you as well. Episode 31 today, boys. Favorite 31s in Anaheim sports history. I think pretty easy one off the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dickie
Yeah.
Thong with the Angels in the
Okay.
1970s.
Yeah.
One of the best
That is
names in
one.
Angels history.
Yeah.
Undeniably, that is
Yep.
one.
The original Mighty Duck, Guy Bear,
DA
the
Bear.
very first pick in the expansion draft way back when, held the number
He's
for
a,
the longest. Good
he's a good
dude.
one. Dean Chance, probably my favorite. The one that's weird is that between 2001 and 2018, the Angels only had one guy wear the number for one season, and it should probably be a retired number in my opinion because of Mr. Chuck Finley. But Thomas, 31s. Anybody? You got
Yeah,
31s?
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Chuck Finley should be retired, but let's go with the fun one. Let's go with Ty Buttrey. Just
Yeah.
pretty
Ty
good
Butcher's a good
reliever for a
man.
minute, and then
Ty Butcher's
early
a good man.
retirement. Yeah.
Good people. Let's
30,
see.
31 sounds exactly like 16 with the Angels, where it should be retired, but then because they held it out for long enough, and then they just gave it to Hank Conger one day. And it's like, okay. I mean, that's Garrett
Well, I mean,
Anderson's
like
number, but good job.
Hank, Hank,
15,
Hanks.
15 with Tim Salmon,
Yeah.
Randall
Yep.
Grichuk getting it.
No,
Mhm.
there's 15, 17, 16. None of those are retired. It's ridiculous. I know I
There's
went in a
no
weird order on that, but
there's
still.
nobody retired from the 2002 team yet, is there?
No.
No,
Like it? No,
No.
not even Sosha.
nope.
No, oh man, they should do that too. You're right. They should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
So
between
Hoppy wears
well, because you'd
14.
retire 14, 15, 16, 17, and then
25.
25, 40,
Mm,
40.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, I guess. I think you have
Oh,
to.
come on. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
mean,
feel like that's just too many.
it is, but that's what I'm saying. Then just retire two or retire
Then
02,
Garrett Anderson,
whatever.
Tim Salmon,
What about
X time was
do
one or was
you
he two? X
22.
time was two.
too. He was two.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
just
He
two.
wasn't
Okay,
here
he was
long
just two.
enough.
do you retire 17 for Otani? Like,
Oh
Oh,
I
God,
don't think they're
no,
gonna do that.
no, you
I
do
don't think
not.
they're gonna do that.
I
You
mean, they
retire it
If
for
they
the
should.
had,
actual. You retire it for the real number 17, Thomas.
if they
Yeah,
haven't retired
but
any of these other ones
he
yet,
won
I
multiple MVPs. What are we doing?
I mean,
Now that I think about it,
so did
now that I
Vlad
think about
Guerrero,
it,
and they gave it to Trout.
if Darren Erstad was a shortstop, like a legit shortstop, Darren Erstad, Rochelowski, there's my comp. There's the new one right there.
Wow.
So
All right,
Ross
guys,
Ross is gonna hit 355 in the majors.
and he's gonna have he's gonna have 250 hit season or whatever
Yeah.
it was. So let's talk Ducks after all that nonsense. Actually, let's talk Olympics. Olympic break. Some of the Anaheim Ducks were involved in the Olympic break. That means that they were playing in Milan Cortina. Some won medals, some did not. Some were contenders for medals and didn't do anything. And also, one became a highlight reel and a big time name, familiar with his home country during the span, which we didn't even talk about before we jumped on. So for that, we're going to go to our hockey expert, Mr. Zachary Cavanagh, covers the Anaheim Ducks. Zach, I'll let you go wherever you want to go with this. Damian Clara, Jackson Lacombe, Lucas Dostal, Radko Gudas, Mikhail Granlund, not Leo Carlsson.
Mhm.
And on that note, congratulations, Team USA, gold medalist. I am not the biggest of patriots in the world, but I do cheer for USA under one circumstance, that it is hockey. So congratulations to both Team USA, men's and women's team. Megan Keller, friggin' dirty. Awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, Megan
Zach.
Keller, dirty. Ducks legend Hillary Knight with the game tying goal in that game. Love all
Did
of
I
it.
go on my rant last episode about when I took my shot with Hillary
Yeah,
Knight?
I think you did.
All right, well, you guys can go check that out on the Sporting Tribune's YouTube page. Sorry, Zach.
All good. So yeah, I mean, Team USA, obviously, Jackson Lacombe, a gold medalist, despite, hey, he didn't give up a single goal in the tournament. No goals against on Jackson Lacombe. He also didn't play a single minute, but that's not his fault.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Jackson. I don't know if you saw the photo from Jackie Redmond, the sideline reporter. She had of Jeremy Swayman and Kyle Connor and Jackson Lacombe watching the final minutes of that game in the hallway, ready to jump out on the ice and participate. So that was cool for him. Obviously, was a big story. Yesterday there's a interview up on the Sporting Tribune YouTube that you can find of Jackson from yesterday, talking about his Olympic experience and what he learned and all that sort of stuff, and the fallout, which I don't think we're going to get into too much today, which shouldn't. I think that's been turned over more than once. If you want thoughts on that, go to the Ducks and Deep podcast on the Sporting Tribune YouTube promotion. Who else stood out? I mean, of the other guys, I mean, Mikael Granlund gets a bronze for captaining Finland. He was out yesterday for the game. He took a hit late in that Finland game that it seemed precautionary. No idea what it is. They said upper body yesterday, but he should be back at practice today, and then should be good to go tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes for him. And then I think from like a tournament standpoint, he had a couple goals in the Italy blowout, which was big for them to separate themselves and get a bye to the quarterfinals, and that helped their path to a bronze medal. But I think really of everybody else, the standout is Damian Clara. Of course, shouts out to Lucas Dostal and Ratko Gudas for almost willing Czechia to an upset over Canada, but the standout of the Ducks reps is Damian Clara, the 21-year-old 6'6" prospect who, kept his home nation of Italy in those games much longer than they rightfully should have been in many cases. And his stock has risen. It's one thing to just be a highly regarded prospect, which he already was, mostly for his size, and he's still very raw, has to work on the technical aspects of the game. But when you put up a performance in a tournament like that against the talent that he did it against, your stock rises a bit. So does that make him higher in the Ducks system? Maybe. I think kind of looking at the Ducks goaltending group, after that, there's so many of these guys that haven't really separated themselves, whether it's Kalle Klang or Tomas Sukanek or Vyacheslav Butiets. Like, they've all been fine, but nobody's really jumped up. So I think maybe this gives Clara finally an opportunity, not a leg up, but just sort of a bigger window to say, hey, maybe try him out with the Gulls next year rather than sending him straight to Europe, and just see if he's ready to develop further. I don't expect him to be taking over the crease from Dostal anytime soon, of course, but I think he did enough there to show, okay, you really have something in this kid if you can develop him properly, and maybe actually get an heir apparent brewing in the system rather than just a bunch of replacement backup netminders like the Ducks currently have. But yeah, that's my quick hit thoughts on all the Ducks. I don't want to ramble too much. Anybody else?
That's perfect. And just general thoughts, guys. I mean, I think we all woke up for the game to some degree.
I was up 5 a.m. Yeah.
I was up.
5 a.m. I got up at like 6:30. I wasn't pulling. I was like, I'm still getting most of the game. I'm pulling this one.
I saw puck drop. I'm a better American than you, Taylor.
You are. I promise you, you are. That's fine. I can live with that. No, I mean, Jack Hughes, golden goal, Megan Keller, golden goal, both just spectacular. Really fun to see it. And Jack Hughes, I think, I was watching his pregame with New Jersey last night and everything. Him bringing Thompson from Buffalo
Tage,
over.
yeah.
I thought, yeah, I thought it was really cool. Just it's fun, like growing up in the age that some of us did, sorry, Jack, the 1980 U.S. hockey team, even though it was like folklore because we weren't born in 1980 or before that, it's still like really remarkably is a tight hold on a lot of us. I remember in 2004 when the movie came out, Miracle came out, like that was my life. Everything was revolving around Jack O'Callahan and Mike Eruzione and everything like that. I'm hoping that there are 10-year-olds out there right now that are saying that Jack Hughes is their Mike Eruzione and that Jackson Lacombe is their Ralph Cox. I know that's not the exact way that it went, but you know what I mean. So I
Connor
don't know,
Hellebuck
guys.
is your Jim Craig. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Uh,
So Jack, Thomas, any thoughts here, Team USA or just Olympics in general? And Jack, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that stood out to me was, like you said, about the you're hoping that this inspires 10-year-olds and all that, and this is a big moment. I think you could argue it's a bigger moment for the women's team winning, just because, the women's game is obviously growing in America, but to be honest, it's still behind the men's game. And I would love for the women's winning gold to be kind of that spark that gets a lot more, young girls interested in hockey and getting them out on the ice and getting to learn the game and to see this game grow more, because there's obviously all of the political stuff to root for Team USA, and it gets all money. But like the main reason why I really wanted Team USA to win was because I want to see the hockey continue to grow in America. I mean, look at Team USA men's. They had four guys born in Arizona and they won gold. I mean, granted, the Kashucks didn't grow up in Arizona, but still, I'm counting it. let me let me let me
Same
force
thing-
let me
same thing with
force
the
my
Hughes.
narrative. Let me
Yeah,
force my
the
narrative.
Hughes were born in Orlando, right? And they
Yeah.
were developed
Yeah,
elsewhere,
right.
but they were born there.
But yeah, like Austin Matthews, Tage Thompson, guys that grew up in Arizona, and they made a difference on a team that won gold in hockey. You know, in Canada, it's always going to be, hockey's country, because you can play hockey anywhere out there. In America, it's not the case, and I'm hoping both men's and women's winning gold this year can help propel hockey into a position where you can play hockey anywhere in America. It doesn't matter if you're in Kansas, Minnesota, Arizona, California, wherever. So hopefully that's my takeaway from this.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Nothing wrong with that. Before I go on my tangent, Thomas Murray, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah.
Olympics.
I mean, here's the thing. It was kind of hard for me to watch the last week of it because I
Oh,
was on
that's right.
vacation.
Yeah.
I was on vacation, so when it was like 5 o'clock puck drop for you guys, it was 3 a.m. for me, and there was just no way. So I mean, I woke up to the group chat going off. We're talking about, I get the picture of Gudis trying to get that puck in, and and then like I get the picture of like Jack Hughes and the game winner, so all that kind of stuff. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, though, my biggest takeaway from this is it's another big step for hockey moving forward. This time last year, we're talking about the Four Nations face-off and how that helped the game so much, and then we're kind of in a similar style tournament, and um, I feel like it's just another step where now it's like, okay, the men's and women's side of hockey are, have another fantastic tournament, and both USA teams were victorious in it, which was great. And I remember a few weeks ago on this podcast too, everyone was giving me shit because I said that I don't really watch women's hockey, and so kind of keeping up in the Olympics.
Well
So it really
deserved.
it did really pique my interest, and no, I was like checking out highlights all the time and stuff from it, and it was great, awesome, and congratulations.
Attaboy. I was telling Zach about this. I don't know if I told you guys about it. In Lake Arrowhead, we've had an Olympic athlete at every Winter Olympics, dating back to like probably like 92, except for this one. So not having representative, like going to what I was talking about earlier is when I was a kid, like I literally thought I would be a Winter Olympic athlete because that's what people from my city, my town did. Michelle Kwan and Nathan Chen and Sean White and people like that, right? And it's like you look at these sports of you look at all these sports, they're very different from anything else. It's not something that everyone can do. And when you're a kid, you don't think about that, right? You think, yeah, I can ski, so I'm going to be an Olympic skier. I can skate, I'm going to be an Olympic speed skater or whatever. So to see, like you said, Jack, guys from Arizona, guys that come from obviously a little different, right? You know, the Kachucks have a little bit more support on the hockey system than
And Tage
the
Thompson.
yeah, than the Ward family. But Tage Thompson, right? You have people that come from small towns. You have people that come from different backgrounds that all collectively came together, whether it's hockey or whatever. Like Eileen Gu, I know there's comment, but like Eileen Gu, uh, didn't have everything handed to her. She's just a wicked smart girl. It's an incredible gold medalist, right? Alex Hall, good friend of mine, goes and medals again for the I think third Olympics in a row in men's ski slope style, or big air, whatever it was, freestyle skiing. You know, it's that's what I think is really cool about the Olympics. And to me, like I think it was Team Georgia. I think it was Georgia or it was one of those former Soviet teams, former Soviet Union nation. I think it was Georgia got their first medal ever, and it was in pair skating. I think it was a pair skating. I think it was Georgia, and they got a bronze. And to see just the reaction of not only being able to compete in the Olympics, but also being able to at least get a medal in the Olympics is just remarkable. And I think it's so cool. But course I get a phone call right as soon as I ramble on about this. But yeah, Team USA being able to do this, seeing guys like Tage Thompson, seeing guys like Connor Hellebuck and everything like that. Quiet, you go quiet, you stupid phone, whatever. Apparently I'm getting a call from Fontana, CA, guys. Fontana, there's
Wow.
nothing. Yeah. It's
You
answering.
know the horses had phones.
Ooh, hey now. Hey, oh, hey, horses. Hey, now, great. Either way,
Horse
I
country.
loved it. Olympics are always like a big thing for me. I love the Olympics. It's not about it being a patriot. It's not about anything. It's just the world scale of coming together for competition and putting on a display of athleticism is remarkable. And what Team USA did on both hockey fronts really blew me away. So, congratulations, USA Hockey, on both fronts.
Yeah, just to build on that one more time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to let Jack be the only one to say it because we need to really amplify how really freaking good this U.S. women's team was. Like absolutely dominant. And the thing that stands out too is and probably the reason that they ended up beating Canada and have dominated them in the last year or so of competition, they brought a young roster. I think they had like seven
Yeah.
of the players that were 24 and under. And somebody said that if we're gonna hold Hillary Knight at 36 years old as the standard of how long any of these players will be in the Olympics, in 4 years there will only be two players that won't be aging out of their Olympic window on this team. I think there's even 13 players that are 25 and under on the roster, and they played fast and they played electric and they played such a dynamic style. Like Caroline Harvey, I thought was at times not just the best defender in the tournament, maybe the best defender on either side of the Olympic brackets, men's or women's. Like she was just that good at times. Layla Edwards is an absolute stud. Abby Murphy with the creative skill she has. Hannah Bilka, Taylor Heisey, like all these young up and comers that have now taken the Olympic torch, if you will, from Hillary Knight and Kendall Coyne, the veterans of this group, and they can lead that forward. Now, Megan Keller is going to be the leader going forward, golden goal with it, but she will be top of the line there. But it's this women's team was put up one of the most dominant Olympic performances of all time, like just flat out, like men's, women's, regardless.
Yeah.
They outscored the competition 33-2 over the
Yeah,
course of
so
the tournament.
they're the Soviets. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I heard this on a different hockey podcast the other day that the discussions around women's hockey were always it was the concern that wow, the US and Canada have pulled away from everybody else and you want the rest of the pack to catch up. But nobody ever considered the fact that what happens if one of those two at the top pulls away from the other one? And then there's a gap between the US and there's a gap between Canada and then there's a gap between everybody else. And for this tournament, I guess Canada fought them tooth and nail in the gold medal game, but that always happens. The US has pulled far and away from Canada in this last cycle. And that is something that is almost impossible to think, even if it is on the women's side of things, that where the US has been at the forefront of so many women's team sports, soccer, etc. But uh, this group is good now. They are going to be good in 4 years, and they may be still just as good 4 years after that. And the U.S. women's have 3 of the 8 gold medals that have ever been awarded in women's hockey. They've never won back to back. I think that they have a excellent shot to do so. Canada will certainly fight back. I'm sure they will change their roster construction. They were considered too old at the tournament sometimes, and maybe they'll skew younger. They have a lot of studs in the college ranks right now that will fill them up. But the fact that the U.S. women's team pulled that far away from Canada in such a short period of time is pretty amazing in the context of everything that goes on in that tournament.
And I think it just shows the impact that Hillary Knight has had on the game of hockey on the
Absolutely.
women's side.
Yeah.
Because you watch the Olympics, this past Olympics, every game they're showing old pictures of Hillary Knight, running like kids camps, and it's pictures of her with her teammates, they're her now current teammates, and they're I don't know how old they were, but probably like somewhere between 10 to 14 years old. And you know, it, the fact that women's hockey has grown this much over the last decade to 15 years, I think you have to put credit on Hillary Knight for doing that.
Well, and I mean, what a moment like this, what's holding it back from, like, I think everyone knows who Mia Hamm is, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Abby Wambach, right? Why don't we have Abby Murphy? Why don't we have Hillary Knight? Why don't we have Megan Keller as these names as well in these same categories? Alex Morgan's a household name. Now, maybe that's because she's a medalist and she's beautiful, but like these women are beautiful too. So why not?
Yeah.
Like, I'm still bitter. I'm still bitter at
just more
Hillary,
widely
by the
played.
way. Still mad at Hillary. She chose Freddie Anderson over me. Come on. Like,
I mean,
what does Freddie Anderson have that I don't? But I don't know. Like,
a
there's
stellar
no.
Lego collection.
Yeah, but there's no reason that, like, Hope Solo, right? There's no reason we can't be talking about Abby Murphy in the same sentence as Hope Solo, or in the same
I don't
way,
think we
like,
should be talking about anybody in the same breath as Hope Solo these days.
well, Carly Lloyd. Let's go, Carly Lloyd. Like, sorry, Mia Hamm.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
I get what you mean. I think
Right.
it's a thing with when you're comparing the women's soccer team and the women's hockey team. Women's soccer is so it's all. I think I don't have the numbers, but I have to imagine that women's soccer is probably maybe the most played women's sport in the country. If
That's
I were
fine. But I mean,
to guess,
I'm not
I mean, soccer is like the most popular sport in the world.
yeah, it's true. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Globally speaking.
but I'm not a WNBA fan. I don't find it entertaining. But I know who Asia Wilson is. I know who Caitlin Clark is. I know who Cheryl Swoops is. Which
Yeah.
that's dating me back. But still, like, there's
yeah,
no
I
reason
think
we can't get in the same sentence here.
yeah, and I think we're starting to see that with the PWHL really taking off, having a women's league that actually has some backing to it. I would love to see them expand down here. That would be,
Yes, please.
awesome for the sport. I mean, we've had plenty of women go through. Like Kayla Barnes, shout out to her, was a former junior Duck.
The women's hockey is doing very well in Southern California,
Yeah.
and it would
Oh, yeah.
only improve. It would only improve with this and expansion to the PWHL. Which, if you've been watching the games, they are selling out games very
Yeah.
easily, and there's no
Selling out
reason
games
that
in their home markets when they go on these tours. There's clearly a appetite for it.
when you don't have to put it at the pond or at the not Staples Center, but Staples Center, you can put it at uh, Irvine Ice. You could put it at Toyota Arena in Ontario. You could put it locally down in Southern California. You could tour it. You could split it between San Diego barn, Coachella barn, and Ontario,
Sure.
and split it.
I think San Diego would be a great great
Be a
spot for the
stand.
for the PWHL
Absolutely.
because
Okay,
and they don't have any NHL teams to compete with for attendance or anything like that.
I
Yeah,
mean, and
and they're-
the goals do very well. Attendance wise, they do incredibly well.
the Gulls do well. The NWSL team down there does well. They clearly support women's sports in San Diego, so that's awesome. And I think, but I don't think that they would put it in the pond. But the attendance record has now been broken several times over as they've gone around. But the attendance record for a women's hockey game in the United States was recently set by U.S. Canada at the
Coachella,
pond.
right?
No,
Oh, was it the pond? Okay,
It was
pond.
at the pond. This was years ago, but that record was then broken by another site and another site and another site. But I remember it being a thing of when the rivalry series came to Anaheim between the U.S. and Canada, they sold it out, and that's awesome. Like, yes, international sports will always do that to some degree, but it was still a women's hockey game in Southern California that sold out a building, an NHL building, and that's awesome. And I think you see that the Ducks do a really good job with those women in sports days, and you can see the response to that and the amount of people that show up to these things. There's a market for it here, and I think I don't know anything for sure. This isn't something that I'm reporting or even heard from anybody, but I just get the sense that there is an appetite for it to not only for the league to expand, because I think that's been reported that they do want to expand, but to expand specifically down here or even to the Bay Area market. I think there's room for it out here. They shouldn't go too far too fast because I just don't know if the player base can support a huge league like that. But I think there's certainly room for some southern markets that
So
would jump on it.
on that note, Thomas Murray, Mr. Anti-women's hockey man yourself here,
Damn,
would you
big
go
hater.
see would you go see the PWHL here in Southern
Yeah,
California, man?
yeah, of
Regularly,
course.
right?
Yeah, I would go check it
Cool.
out. Yeah, especially. I mean,
It's
why
good stuff.
not?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
If we got a
Um,
team down here, I will be first in line as beat reporter. You can take me.
I'll
I'll
buy
be there.
season tickets. Screw that.
Sure.
I'm going as a
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna put the four of us
Only
against the
is
glass.
as long as Hillary Knight's not on the team.
Well,
Man,
she's
I'm
currently
still
in
better, man.
Seattle.
Still
She's in
better.
Seattle. You can root against her as a division rival.
Still better. I
She's
love
still
Hillary
so
Knight.
good too.
She's
It's
awesome.
like,
She's the best. She's so
we
cool.
talk about some of these athletes when they get to 36, and it's like, God, they should just be, put out back and shot. But like, you know, she's
Damn, dude.
well, hey, I'm 36. Like, I get it. I
I'm
whenever they're like,
gonna say
when we
I'm getting close. I'm getting
no,
close to
when we go in the
36.
locker room and we talk to Alice
Old
Kohler, it's
Yeller.
like, wow, as you the wily veteran that you are, it's like I'm just as old as him. I'm fine.
Mike
Um,
Trout's only a month older than I am, you douchebag.
but you have better knees. Um,
No, I do not. But okay.
but it's just like she's continuing to excel. Like, you know, she said this is her last Olympics, and then there was some cheeky like, oh, maybe it isn't. But like, I wouldn't if in 4 years she was still going to the French Alps with everybody else. I wouldn't be surprised.
And
She's
she's playing Joe
incredible.
Sakic style, man.
Yeah.
Patty Marleau. She's playing the same style as Patrick Marleau.
One last thing before we
Um,
move on, just super quick. Abby
yeah,
Murphy gives me Corey Perry vibes.
I was going Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, I mean she has the skill set, the bouncing puck move and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But she just
So,
gets under the skin of the other team like Corey Perry.
so I got two things on that, and we're as in the process of moving on. Let's move on to the local sports team, the Anaheim Ducks, who played a game last night. But speaking of Corey Perry, did any of you guys watch any of the Kings highlights last night? A
I,
little
s-
bit.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Byfield gets hit in the
Cut out for me.
corner by I don't know who it was, but dude 6'7", one of these 6'7" Russian dudes. It's just monster. And Corey Perry drops the gloves before he gets to him and just grabs him. And you could just see the guy's face. I can't remember who it was, and I just remember I was laughing because the guy's face is like, "Huh? Like, you want to fight me? Like, old man River?" And it's just this stall period of Corey dropping the gloves and grabbing the guy, and there's like a 2 second pause of just like, this is
Oh,
happening. This is what we're
Curtis
doing. Like,
Lazon. Curtis
yeah,
Lazon.
Lazard, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just like, this is what we're gonna go with tonight. Okay, sounds good. Here's the death of an old man. So shout out Corey Perry for standing up for his young superstar out in LA. But we're not talking about LA. We're going to talk about the Anaheim Ducks,
Who would
who
want to talk about that team? Gosh.
uh,
I know.
thanks, man. That's only my job to cover that team to a
I,
certain degree.
I'm just
Um,
saying that things are rough up there.
rough, like a big old dog bark. Let's talk about the Anaheim Ducks. Leo Carlsson returns after the Anaheim break. Quick note: Frankie Vetrano probably would have been in the lineup if not for the sad passing of his brother. And we are all. I know I have made negative comments about Frank with his hockey skill, but as a professional, as a person, individual, Frankie Vetrano is an amazing individual. So
Yeah.
much love to the Vetrano family and apologies for the loss. We are feeling for you and Frank. Would have loved to have seen him in the lineup last night, but obviously different reasons. Leo Carlsson did make his return after injury and Olympic break and things. Jackson Lacombe also in the lineup. A little bit of a traffic cone, especially in those orange uniforms, but they did pull out a 6-5 victory in regulation, mind you, against the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid, Mr. Bridesmaid. So, Zach, you were there. Jack, you watched. Thomas, you watched. Let's break it down. Ducks have a pretty big goal here. They got a pretty big run ahead of them. Right now sitting second in the Pacific Division standings, 5-point gap on a playoff spot, essentially. Let's talk about last night to start. Joel Quenneville also picking up win number 1,000, but we'll move on to that after. So kind of seeing what's happening here. The Ducks, Zach, you saw it. Ducks kind of came out a little flat-footed, not to hit more puns on that, but what did you see out of the Ducks last night?
That was the most October ass February game I've ever seen in my life. It was very clear that it was just two teams that had not played a competitive game aside from the Olympians on the ice. Connor McDavid, scary as hell as always. Uh, it was a group of teams. It was two teams that hadn't played a meaningful game in like 3 weeks, um, or a game at all, I should say, in 3 weeks. Uh, the Ducks came out super sloppy. The defensive play all game and even the fight back scoring that they showed was very reminiscent of the early days of the season, right? Where they were just exchanging chances uh, and getting up and down the ice and erasing these deficits. Two goal deficits erased in the game, and Cutter Gauthier with the late game winner. 6 different goal scorers, 13 or 14 guys with a point. Uh, 5 of the 6 defensemen, despite not being a great defensive game, had a point. It was messy for sure, and I don't think that is certainly not the blueprint going forward. But as our friend Greg Beecham of the AP put out on Twitter, he said specifically that yes, the defensive unit was not good, but this is an Anaheim Ducks team that still managed in a trading chances game to outscore Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and that whole crew. Neither of whom made it on into the scored a goal. Connor set up 2 of the goals for Edmonton, but I think they're back on track with the offense. We never have to worry about that going forward. Um, and I think ultimately it's still a huge win to pull it out, to win in regulation, to overcome the deficit. I think the regulation piece is probably the most important when you're playing a divisional game like that. You're trying to catch Edmonton. That has not happened a lot for the Ducks over the course of the season. Uh, just yeah, I don't know what else to say directly about it because it was kind of a mess. I don't know that the actual gameplay is something to take forward out of it, but it's a great result to get. And of course, 1,000 for Q, who, as Jacob Truba said to me last night, a breath of fresh air for this group is how he described what he's been this season, and I think it's pretty undeniable at this point just how much he has meant to this turnaround for all the step ups of everybody else on the team, but Quenneville has been the helm of this, and he's done everything right in terms of all the concerns maybe people had of him off the ice going into the year. He's proved to be just a really great guy to sort of work with on our end of things, and he's got those guys believing not only in themselves but in him as the guy that can lead this team back to the promised land. Which he mentioned too that he did not come back to win 1,000 games. He came back because he wanted to win Stanley Cups, and that was an unprompted thing that he said to us in the media the other day. So the goal is clear, and he has helped them kind of envision that as a reality. Not necessarily right now, but they're certainly on the path.
Yeah, I mentioned it last night on social media. Is obviously Joel came with incredible baggage, right? And said, deserved baggage, right? From past things with Chicago and not alarming, not raising the red flag when he should have raised the red flag. But in a short time here in Anaheim, I've seen nothing but just a classy gentleman that's also brought this Ducks young core into a different kind of leadership. So Joel has, like I think you said it, Jacob said a breath of fresh air, right? Joel's been incredible. And I think very vocally I said, this is a red flag. This is a scary hire. It's Joel Quenneville. There's all kinds of stuff that was wrong with him. That's all gone away, and it hasn't gone away, obviously, but the baggage that was there is much lighter, and just incredible to see this Hall of Fame coach do what he's still doing and get to 1,000 wins. It's the only second one to do it. Pretty remarkable. Thomas and Jack, you've kind of interacted with Joel a little bit more than I think Thomas has a little bit recently. No, you've been on the Vegas beat. You've been on the Kings and the Vegas beat, but
I've yet to talk to Joel.
Either way, you guys, your thoughts here on Joel Quenneville hitting 1,000 and maybe just quick hits on the Ducks last night.
Yeah, on Quenneville, I mean, Zach said it best. And Truba said it best. A breath of fresh air. It seems like he's just reading comments and just trying to pick apart comments that players have made. It seems like he's a far better communicator than maybe the guy they once had before him. And in my opinion, like the biggest trait a head coach or a manager has to have is he has to be a good communicator. And it seems that, Quenneville's been communicating well with the players, and they seem to have a really great relationship. And I think that's kind of just from the outside perspective looking in, it looks like it's sort of eased the players, and they're no longer worried about making mistakes or worried about failing. They're more worried about doing their job and to the best of their abilities, and whatever happens, happens. And then in sort of the game last night, just quick hits. I mean, I wasn't really expecting much from the Ducks. I figured they would be kind of rusty, going 3 weeks without a game, especially coming up against a high octane offense like Edmonton with McDavid and Draisaitl. I thought McDavid, because he was going to be pissed off in the Olympics, I thought he was going to pot 6 goals. I really did, but no. The overall, it's a good game. I think the defensive miscues I was sort of expecting. They looked a little bit too aggressive at times in pressuring guys with the puck, and they would get burned, and it would create odd man rushes that go in the other way. That led to a lot of the goals. Those are things they can clean up. But the offense looked stellar. I mean, 5 out of the 6 defensemen got a point, although you could argue Ian Moore's a forward at this point. But and I think more importantly, Leo Carlsson looks like he's back. You,
3.9.
yeah, 3.9, but just take away the points. He just looked like Leo Carlsson. After his injury, I think he sustained it, the game after the Christmas break, I think. That's when he sustained it.
He missed the game before the break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
he even said that it sort of developed mid-December and it just progressively got worse over time.
and you noticed that too with his play.
Yeah.
He looked slower. He looked, a beat off. And yeah, so it was really refreshing to see him firing on all cylinders. The speed was back, the skating was back, the playmaking ability was back, like we got used to seeing it back in the first 3 months of the season.
Thomas, any thoughts here?
Yeah, yeah, like Jack, I haven't interacted with Joel that much at all this year. I've not made my way to the pond yet, but
You guys got to
no.
talk to your sports editor, man.
Well, I've
You got
been
to talk to your
busy.
assignment
Hey,
editor.
Man, we've been
Who
we've been
dat?
at college baseball lately, and we're going to high
Talk to your
school baseball
assignment
tomorrow.
editor here, man. He can get you out to Anaheim. What are you doing?
Also, I was doing college football, so
Yes, yes. Sorry.
anyway, with Joel though, it's awesome to see, and again, we touched on all the baggage and everything that he's been through coming up to here, and it seems like everything's been going in the right direction. He's been a man of his word since he stepped in as head coach, and I appreciate you, Zach, because I think I saw saying a while ago of you checking up, asking him about um, his going to his community service in the area, right? It's like a few months ago or so.
Yeah.
I appreciate you going and asking those things to him, and him being a man of his word, and you know, seeing what he's done as a head coach for the Ducks and just changing the culture in that locker room and changing the direction of this franchise. It's been night and day for this team from where we were this time last year to now. I mean, this time last year, I think February was it when they really started to kind of fall apart,
Mhm.
and the season was a wash mid-March, right? So now we have a team that's gonna finish with a winning record. They're gonna be a playoff team. They look promising for an
Ooh.
okay run in the playoffs, and it's gonna be exciting. And so yeah.
Yeah. If
I
the playoffs started right now, it would be Ducks Oilers. And into the 2 games that they played against each other, they've combined for 11 goals both times.
Yeah, it'd be really fun.
It would be the
It would
complete anti-Kings Oilers series that we've been seeing. Ducks
yeah,
Oilers would be
Thomas,
it'd be a treat.
I'm so hurt, man. You beat up on my
What?
buddy, on my buddy Greg Cronin and Dallas Eakins. What the hell, man?
your buddy.
My best friends.
Oh boy. To touch specifically on
Dallas and I do not get along. It's fine.
I
with
mean, I think Jack kind of helped me earlier with that too, by the way.
Yeah. So,
to
this is
touch
where
on
we
what
sit.
Jack was saying, what Jacob said too, just to expand on his quote a bit, in terms of I had said that the breath of fresh air. but Jack specifically mentioned the communication of it, and this is what Jacob said last night. When things are wrong, he addresses them and we move on. And I think that's something that I appreciate in him. Nothing really dwells, and if he has an issue, he'll address it. He has a focus on having fun, enjoying what we do here at the rink, and enjoying each other, and enjoying the job that we're fortunate and lucky to be able to have. So I think it's that thing of Cronin would see a problem and then take you out of the lineup or bench you and just like make this a big deal and really like drill it into you like you did something wrong. Where Joel is like, we're gonna tell you what's wrong, we're gonna show it to you on the tape, and then we're gonna give you the opportunity to correct it immediately. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I message received, and then these guys go out there and do it. I think there's no greater example of that than Pavel Minchikov, right? Of in the Greg Cronin era, he got sat down for weeks at a time because of a single defensive mistake he would make. But in the Joel Quenneville era, he makes a mistake. He gets sat down for a second. He certainly gets told. And then he goes out and is the third guy in ice time and is just one of the best players on the ice some nights. He got burned on one of those goals last night. I think it was the Hyman goal coming back to the crease. He got beat inside. But it's all correctable. And that's what Joel has done with this team. He's made them believe. I think I'll pull up one more quote here from Leo last night. He's believing his believing in me has helped me a lot. I think that's the biggest thing. I always learn from that. I feel like I know a lot of stuff, but it's more just like the character stuff and things like that. So he's not teaching some of these guys how to play the game. He's just teaching them that you know how to play the game. I know you know how to play the game. Go out there and do it because I know you can, and they have been. So that's
Look at the contrast of the two guys that have 1,000 wins. Because Herb Brooks was obviously Herb Brooks is the milestone you want to be, right? But Herb Brooks was a douchebag to play under, right? Scotty Bowman, horrible to play under. People hated Scotty, but he also won more games than any coach in the history of NHL. Scotty Bowman's known as a douchebag.
Yeah.
He's the worst, but and that's what Joel is the exact opposite. I think it's hilarious that you've got the two greatest. Well, I don't want to go into that, but two of the greatest coaches in NHL history and total opposites. So, looking at the clock here, guys, we got to get the motor running. Thomas, you mentioned it. This should be a playoff team. You said they are a playoff team, and yes, they should be, but they should be a playoff team. Trade deadline is 1 week away. It's been mentioned a few times here. Defensive problems, defensive this, defensive this. Where in the world are they going to find a defenseman to make that not be a problem? Jack, Zach, Thomas, any thoughts on the trade deadline coming up and how the Ducks can improve this roster? We've mentioned it so many times over. Every episode we've mentioned it to some degree. You can't forfeit the future. But you know what? The right now is pretty stinking nice to be a part of. I think you can do something for the right now without surrendering a whole lot of future.
The right now is nice, but like we said at the beginning of the year, I think it was November, we talked about it. I still believe you ride with what you got, and you get a real idea of what this team is capable of. And like, yes, you make a playoff run, but I don't think this team is a Stanley Cup contending team. And so why not just run with what you got, see where it goes, and then next year go win a freaking chip?
I see. That's the problem I would look at is we mentioned it, 11 goals combined in both games with Edmonton, right? And right now you'd be playing Edmonton. And if things kind of progress the way you expect them to, you're going to be playing Edmonton in that opening series. You cannot contain Connor McDavid. The 6 defensemen you have right now are not going to contain Connor McDavid alone. And you had Leon Draisaitl of that. And then you talk about Vegas. They can't contain Jack Eichel alone and Mitch Marner alone with the 6 guys. They've got to find improvements. And I think so. It's either you mentioned it, maybe they aren't Stanley Cup favorites. Maybe they're not going to go out and win the Stanley Cup this year. But you know what? I want to go and at least shove it to whoever I'm facing in the first round. I want to at least contend. I don't want to get embarrassed. And there's a chance of getting embarrassed in the first round. So I don't know. Jack, thoughts on who, where, what?
I mean, the problem is when you look at Puckpedia and you look at the upcoming pending UFAs for right shot defensemen, it's pretty barren. And the only ones that are worth moving are on competitive teams. So they're not going to get traded. So it like you said, or like we've talked about earlier, I think the only way you add someone who's going to make an impact, is you're going to have to mortgage the future for it. And I think at this point, if you're going to mortgage the future, for someone who's good, I would assume that would be a move that's made over the summer. Um, it also just depends on who's not a pending UFA that's available. Because the pending, like I just said, the pending UFA is pretty thin. So I'm not sure who's on the market of those who are still under contract after next year. Um, it's really hard to tell. And also, like we talked about earlier, like the right shot or the right side of the blue line should be better next year because you have Radko Gudas and Jacob Trouba on expiring contracts. I would assume Trouba's the only one coming back from that, just based off of vibes. I don't get the sense that Radko is going to come back. I think they like Trouba better, and he's still what 32, so you could re-sign him to maybe like a 2-year deal or something like that. Tristan Luneau's on the way up. So realistically, you could just search for one more right shot defenseman on the free agent market this summer. But I'm not sure what you could add right now that drastically changes this team without mortgaging your future.
Two
Yeah,
guys that come to mind, and it is part of your future, part of not, because they do have control past this season. They're not UFAs at the end of the season. I look at Justin Falk in St. Louis, and I look at Dougie Hamilton, and I know that's a lot of money to take on, and also a lot of liability to a degree to take on because of diminishing skill. Right? They're just aging players. We're not going to take them out back and shoot them like Zach would, but diminishing time. But you want to improve for the now and not worry about next year. Because like you said, Trouba's off the books, Radko's off the books, right? So you've already filled one spot. Because we've talked about it for how long is the problem of you're going to have to part ways with Trouba or Radko at some point. And as much as you would prefer it be the end of the season, I would like to see it be next week. That's what I would like to see. I know this could be a really tough task to do, and I think these guys are adults. I think you bite the bullet and say, sorry, we're going to improve our roster, and you're not going to be a part of it. But I think that's what Justin Falk and Dougie Hamilton would do. And also, you have them for the year after. And it's going to be costly financially, but I don't think it's going to be costly prospect-wise.
yeah, I
Especially
think
Dougie Hamilton because his value is at an all-time low right now.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I would think about it.
yeah,
Uh,
Dougie Hamilton. I don't know. I don't know about him for as a fit. I like guys like Connor Murphy, but there's a lot of money tied up in him. Um, I'm just scrolling through like these trade boards and Rasmus Ristolainen, if you want some size, if you want to put him on a lower pair, but is that just
Pat wants size.
yeah, I mean
I
you've
know,
got
but is
Pavel's huge.
he just Radko Gudas in different clothing? Like
No,
I think we the market is not what it is if you want to make some on the fly changes that are going to like really impact. I think it's a market for contenders to shore up themselves a bit. I don't know if it's a market to really get anything of impact. I knowing Pat, I feel like he will do something. Uh, but what the scale of that is up to anybody's interpretation. I just don't think it's going to be overly impactful. I think if there's anything that he ends up doing, it won't be looking at the defensive core. I think he might try to look at some sort of defensive forwards. Like I still think Vincent Trocheck would be an incredible get. His stock
absolutely.
is up after the Olympics. Obviously, he was a big part of that penalty kill for Team USA that went 18 for 18, and uh, I thought he really acquitted himself in the tournament. JT Miller, on the other hand, did not. Um, Despite being part of that unit as well, I just don't think he played very well. But Vincent Trocheck, I thought had done a decent job. If I were to see the Ducks do anything, it would be something in the bottom six to again just add more defensive presence because I think things that a lot of people don't notice and shout out to Patrick Present of the Hockey News for posting this clip on Twitter in full because I watched the game and Pat has played the game. He just sees the ice differently than I do and I appreciate his view. But on the game-winning goal last night, yes, great play by Leo Carlsson to find Cutter Gauthier on the other side. But how did that all start? It was a defensive zone face-off that they had Tim Washy on specifically for the face-off, as the technical term is a FOGO, face-off, get off. Tim Washy won the face-off, went directly to the bench, and then the Ducks went down the other end of the ice and scored the game-winning goal. It's those little things that make a difference, especially in tight games like this, in playoff games, like we saw, whether you watch the Olympics or you just think of a game against a division rival jockey for a playoff spot like last night. It's those little things that make the difference. And I feel like that is the angle that Pat wants to take, because I also feel like, yes, you want to strike while the iron is hot with this group to an extent, but you also don't want to do anything that upsets the chemistry of the group as a whole. And so that's why I don't think they're going to move any sort of name pieces specifically on the defensive side of things, and you may just see some shuffling in the bottom six somewhere.
Bring in Evander Kane.
No, thank you. Nope.
Come on. He's the best.
No.
Anything else hockey wise here, guys? Anything else?
The first 1,000 people in the door on Sunday will get Joel Quenneville mustaches. So, yeah, get there early for Ducks Calgary on Sunday.
I shaved a little improperly the other night, like just trimming, and yeah, this is not purposeful. So, looking like Joel myself.
I have been fixing my beard here for the last couple of weeks because I did something similar, and it's almost back to full strength. But
yeah, man,
Jack,
same.
Jack, you've been growing a beard for the last 20 years, right?
I have not shaved in over a week.
What a stud.
I'm dead serious.
What a stud,
You
man.
are so lucky.
It's all that creatine. That's what it is.
There's a filter, Jack. You could put a mustache on you.
True. That's I should go to the game, get the fake mustache so I can just leave it on.
There you go.
Yeah, you look a little
it's only
like
1,000. They're only giving 1,000 out
for 1,000 wins.
1,000
You got,
wins, yeah.
yeah, but you got 16,000 people at the game.
I know.
Well, so they claim, but
this has been a discussion at different points of the year. Like they did the fingerboards, the tech decks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Only the first
Those are
5,000
pretty
people
cool.
got them.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
cool.
it's like in a building that's been selling out regularly, even with the reduced capacity, it still has been over 16,000 people. If you're only giving out 5,000 things to 16,000 people, you know, you're going to get a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to get there. I want to get that giveaway. And they're going to show up and be like, sorry, there wasn't any for you. You'd be like, what?
we got to get the Samuelis to start shelling out. So, and speaking of Anaheim owners shelling out, let's transition. How about that?
Segue.
That was pretty smooth, right? That was nice.
Segue.
That was a good segue.
That's a great transition.
Let's transition to the Angels.
Let's fire this up.
What's going on across the street from the pond here? So
nothing right now.
No, nothing is good. There is we talked about this last week, and Thomas was in Hawaiian crap, so it was a little tricky. Angels have had some noteworthy items occur in the last 2 weeks, particularly comments made by ownership, which is a once a year thing. Ownership doesn't usually come out with comments, and this is something that Arte Moreno talked to Rhett Bollinger of MLB.com. He talked to Jeff Fletcher of the Orange County Register. I believe those were the only two that were involved in that, to my knowledge. Just to kind of go through some things, Angels TV deal or lack thereof has created a little bit of financial burden on Arte Moreno, who says that they lost about $50 million last season. Payroll is down by $50 million this season, and with the lack of revenue share, it is going to be hard to find a way to kind of match that without the money. The comments that I'm trying to pull up here, and this is from the Orange County Register. Jeff Fletcher of the Orange County Register got this. There was a lovely quote by Mr. Moreno. Is that the number one thing that fans want is affordability. They want affordability. They want safety. And they want a good experience when they come to the ballpark. Believe it or not, winning is not in their top 5. And he also went on to say moms want to be able to bring kids. Moms make out about 80% of the decisions. They want to be able to bring their kids and be affordable. They want a safety. They want a good experience. So they all get the entertainment stuff or whatever. Love that part. The purist, it's just straight winning. And when asked when his top priority is, Moreno said, for me, I've always wanted to win, which, so I know I have believed that. It's just what's the cost of winning right now. That is some pretty damning and egregious and dumb comments. And Artie should have just shut up, probably, is the way I look at it. Look, it's been hit on every. We're a week behind. I understand if you're listening to this and you're an Angels fan, you've already heard a lot of opinions on this. Where do we start? I'm not going to you. I'm not starting with you. I'm not starting with you. I'm ending with you. I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with Thomas Murray.
Get the swear jar ready.
Yeah, Thomas.
I'm gonna get the bleep button ready for you, Zach.
Yeah, right. So, look,
yeah,
it's his team. It's his team. He's allowed to do what he wants, but it's an entertainment product. He even mentioned it. You get the entertainment or whatever. That was a bad comment in itself. It's an entertainment product. A professional sports team is the entertainment industry. It's an entertainment product. You have spent money to build a bad entertainment product. It's been a bad movie. This is Meg 2 kind of bad thing kind of going on here. The comments themselves about winning and the fan base and other things, that's where the support's going to just go far, far away. I think I mentioned I'm not a fan. I'm not spending money to go to the games.
Sure.
I actually, it's the opposite. I get paid to go to the games kind of thing. This is a bad comment. It's a bad load of comments. Thomas Murray, your thoughts on Arte Moreno's comments?
It really is, and I mean, like you said, I was in Hawaii when all this crap happened, so I had no idea. I was catching up on things with Angels, and I'm like, oh, sweet headline, Artie comments, and he says this, and I'm like, wow, okay. And I hadn't really had the chance to watch any of the games because I was out in the sunshine having a good time, right, having fun.
Yeah, that's the only reason why you
I
can't watch
already
the games.
needed a freaking vacation from Angels season.
It's
not
okay,
even.
dude. You wouldn't, even if you had MLB TV and Angels TV, you still wouldn't be able to see them.
Yeah, unless you.
That's
can
another
watch on
thing
the
we forgot
app
to
on your
mention. The
phone.
part of the TV thing. You can't get spring training games. You can't get Angel spring training games. You got to go over to Spectrum and buy the Dodgers network.
Yeah, you got to go to the rival. I mean, literally right after though he says it, I already see TikToks on social media. Fans are attendance already started to drop of because why would you want to go to a game? Apparently the thing that you care about is having a safe good time, and you don't care if your team wins or loses. And so when you're a fan and you hear that, you're like, all right, well, winning's not a priority. All right, well, spending my money here isn't a priority either, and that's going to be a concern for this team moving forward this season. There's only so much that $2 to $5 tickets can do to salvage the comments that the ownership has said, and it's gonna be an interesting year for sure. And all I gotta say is really buckle up.
Why? You mentioned it. Why would the fans want to come to Angel Stadium on this after these comments?
Yeah, why would you? I mean,
And I will say this, Orange County has 3.5 million people. Inland Empire, you had another 4 million people on top of that. LA County, a gazillion people. Yes, the primary part of your population is going to not really care about who wins or loses on a Tuesday night. They're going to care about the hot dog and the nachos and the beer and all that stuff, everything like that. But you also have the 10% that do show up that are buying the jerseys, buying the hats. They know who is going to be relieving in the 6th inning after Reed Detmers. They know who Hunter Strickland is. They know who the bench infielder is on the Inland Empire 66ers.
yeah.
They knew Michael Stefanik before Michael Stefanik was cool.
I mean, well, here's
That's
the other thing, Taylor. Before this team has been in this terrible 10-year losing slump, and even in the midst of it, they were a top 10 fan. They consistently ranked in the top 10 of fan attendance year in, year out.
Well,
because they had Trout and Shohei.
Well,
Yeah.
Trout and Shohei, and you put a
but
little bit
like
on...
even before Shohei, like fans were still showing up for this team because they cared, right?
Yeah, but you put the
know,
LA
I know they've
Metro-
been losing. I
Keep
know
in
they've
mind
been
the
losing.
The LA Metro, which includes Anaheim and Orange
Yeah.
County and stuff,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is the second largest population in the United States. It's a top 20 in the world too.
Yeah. No, I
Is Angel
exactly.
Stadium also like the 4th largest?
Nah, it's up, but it's
like
not.
in terms of seats.
It's like 45,000, I think.
It's 45, and it's like top 10.
Yeah.
All I know, out of the 9 stadiums I've been to, Angel Stadium is by far the easiest to get in and out of, the most convenient to get
It
to.
is.
It's also like the worst fan product as a stadium in
Oh yeah,
itself. Yeah,
yeah.
I've been to
It's 10th. So
10th. It's
yeah.
also just not a good ballpark, but still.
Oh, actually, this includes non-American ballparks, so it's actually 8th
Okay, fair enough.
in MLB.
The other big comment is not only why would the fans show, what players would want to come to a team that had an owner that said that? What player is going to say, I'm not worth it? You know, you can't tell a professional athlete that. You can't, especially with what we're going to go through in October or November, when everyone decides that they're not worth it. Jack, thoughts on Arte Moreno's comments here?
Just real quick before I forget this thought, you mentioned the players. I mean, look at who they've been able to sign the last few years, with the exception of Yusei Kikuchi. What impact
Uh,
player have they been able to sign in the last 3 years?
how much was Kenley's contract worth? Like but that's
11
what I'm saying
million,
is
I
okay. So
think.
Kenley at 11, like
Yeah, like the majority of their signings are guys that are hanging on by a thread for their big league careers, and there's a reason for that. It's a combination of that's all they want to pay, and also the guys that actually do matter and do make a difference to a team. They have offers from other competitive teams that they're going to choose over the Angels 9 times out of 10. Um, so I just want to get that out of the way before I forget. But
no, it's
from a fan's perspective, it's a slap in the face, especially you know these comments. I don't think they sting as much if the Angels made the playoffs 2 years ago or anything like that. The fact that you have a team,
5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years
I'm
ago.
saying I'm saying that if you had a team that was actually like somewhat competent, I don't think the sting is that bad from the comments. The fact that you have a 14-year play or not 14-year playoff drought, 11-year playoff drought, 10-year, not even a winning season drought,
No,
it's a giant slap in the face of the fans that all they want to do is see this team win. I'm sure, like, how many, if you polled every single Angels fan, how many of them would take $10 more on parking if it meant that the Angels had a winning record in 2026? I'm guarantee you it'd be over 50%. Sam Blum had a great tweet that day. The comments were made where he said, like, I'm sure Dodger fans will take back the World Series championships if it meant cheaper parking. um, I don't know. It's hard to come up with words because all I can think of is it's just a slap in the face of the fans. The fans deserve better. The fact that you still even have 2 million fans showing up to the ballpark every year. Granted, it's one of the biggest markets in the country, but still, the fact that you get 2 million people to show up to see your product and that's the way you treat them, it's mind-boggling.
it's good. All right, Zach, time to shine. Thomas, get your censorship button.
Yeah. Zach,
Zachary,
please avoid F-bombs.
you are a professional journalist, sir. You're a professional journalist.
Before Zach goes, I'm just gonna come back to me after Zach's done. There's a point I forgot.
You just go ahead because there's going to be a minute.
Oh, I just want the books to be open because Artie complains
Yes.
about losing money all the time. The Braves, they have their books open because they're not a private owned company or whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
the exact language of it, but
They're not a private entity.
yeah, private entity. Their numbers came out for 2025 just off of baseball concessions alone, like tickets, concessions, TV, etc. Just baseball related revenue. They made $635 million, and they were 76 and 86. That's not including their the Battery, their entertainment district.
Yeah. I was going to say
You gotta imagine the Angels are making more than that.
you do have I'm not making any excuses here at all, but you don't when you look at the finances of a Major League Baseball team, you usually just look at the player construction and the coaching construction. You have to remind yourself that there is insurance, there is extra funds, there is about $30 million for every team that is not that is spent but not anywhere on any report. And that's every team. I'm not saying Angels, I'm talking every team talks about this. Ross Atkins with the Blue Jays was telling me about this. Is that yes, you have X amount of money for player build kind of thing, but the expenses go well beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
That said, if it's $50 million, that might be where he's coming up with that number. But yes, open up the books. So, all right, Zach Cavanagh, midweek meltdown. Let's have it, buddy.
What a joke. Do you hear yourself, Artie? Do you hear yourself? Yeah. Yo, you care really about winning. That's why we've been back to the playoffs so much. That's why they've been in the playoff race every single year, trying to get in. They just, the bad luck has come to them. It's not because okay, look.
It's gonna be crazy to edit.
We care.
So many bleep sound effects.
There's so many discussions about the Dodgers ticket prices are so expensive. They're really gouging the fans. How can anyone do that? You think the Dodgers are having attendance problems? No, people pay that because they are the world champions. They win. They win. You don't. I don't care how it could be. You can give me the tickets. If I know that they're going to play like every night, why would I show up? I don't care. Free hot dogs. Bread and circus. That's what this is, Artie. It's bread and circus. Let them eat cake. Let them eat delicious cake while the team melts down in front of you every night. What are you talking about? Safety is actually more important than to who? Where is this? Again, credit to Sam Blum for asking repeatedly where the surveys that he reportedly got this information from was.
At least the survey, like the files.
Where is it? What survey? Nobody knows what you're talking about. Who told you this? Who told you this? Because it wasn't anybody that actually goes to the games. It's not your season ticket holders. You think the season ticket holders are like, you know what? I just like going to the ballpark. I don't care that I show up 80 games a year and they lose a bunch of them. I just had a good time. No, this is people's valuable money. It's an entertainment product. And to point to that, my grandmother was a season ticket holder, partial season ticket holder for a very long time. And I always made fun of her for one particular mantra she had. I would ask, how was the game? If I didn't go with her, I usually went, but I was just like, how was the game? Oh, it was terrible. Like, why? What did were the hot dogs, were your tickets too expensive? Were the hot dogs too soggy? Was your drink not fizzy?
Did you feel safe?
She determined whether it was a good game or a bad game, whether they won or lost. Like, it had nothing to do with the beauty of baseball. It had nothing to do with appreciating the game or it was a great entertainment product. If they won or lost, it was a bad game to her. If they lost, and this is why the thing with like the Angels attendance is it's been good, but I almost encourage people to just stop showing up, because then maybe the bottom line will finally hit Artie's brain. But if he thinks that all you care about is affordability and you keep showing up to watch this team trip over its own feet every year, and okay, how much does winning cost to me? You're not the Oakland A's. You're not Tampa Bay. What are you talking about? What is winning? Winning should cost you everything. As you said, one of the most tone-deaf, brain-dead things I've ever heard from an owner. Specifically an owner. It's one thing to just like be a bad owner and maybe the team has succeeded in spite of that, and maybe people still hate you because then you do gouge them on ticket prices. Because you do hell, look at the old Blackhawks. They hated their old owner because they literally had the blackouts enforced, where if they didn't sell out a home game, they wouldn't put it on TV back in the day. And that didn't, and yes, the Blackhawks also weren't good during that time, but they were also still good at other times. That's kind of beside the point. But my point being that, like, if you win, people will get over the affordability part. If you win, safety, I mean, for God's sakes, like Angel Stadium is in the barrio. Like Angel Stadium is, in the middle of a war zone. Like, what safety issues are there exactly? Angel fans are not Dodger fans. Angel fans are not Giants fans. Angel fans are not even Padre fans to that extent. They're not Yankee fans. They're not Red Sox fans. They don't. There's no safety issue to be had here. You are a Disney ballpark built or renovated by Disney. Disney dollars made Angel Stadium what it became, right? During those years, during the remodel.
Sure.
What are you talking about? Like, what are you actually talking about? Like, I could go on for ages just kind of saying that over and over. Like, I've told you guys that I've been out on the team for a long time. I haven't given them an actual cent. I haven't watched more than 5 minutes of a game in the last 3 seasons.
That's not
Not
true.
that anybody would be able
You
to
spent
win.
9 innings on one time.
Well, okay, but that was in theory I was
Thanks,
getting
Mal.
paid for that. In theory, I was getting paid for that. It just, maybe I won't. If the Angels do continue to, uh, if they scrub for my words before you ever credential me again, Taylor, and they find this,
No,
fine.
no.
it's fine.
I know you're a credentialing officer, and yeah,
I can be impartial when I'm in the booth.
you're fine.
But
You're
when
fine.
I'm sitting here and I read that, Thomas hit it again. What are you talking about? What, like, I just
Like,
Hey man, the
it's
fireworks are
man.
loud and scary. I feel unsafe when I hear the fireworks on
like,
Zach,
Saturdays.
do you feel
but-
unsafe at the Honda Center?
never. No one
So-
does.
And it's cross street, pretty much same fan base.
so
I just my last thing, and I'll let it go.
it's fine.
I think him pulling the team off the market a few years ago was sort of the breaking point for a lot of people. I know it was specifically for me. Where like I was still following the team, and I cared to an extent. I still wanted them to get better. I was willing to put up with stuff because I still had some sort of attachment to all of it. But then once he did that, it was like, okay, you really just this isn't about anybody other than you. This is not about the fan base. This is not about winning a championship. This is about whether you feel good about yourself. And he's in this delusional spot where the criticism seemingly doesn't reach his ears in any meaningful way. Because if it did, then he would actually do something about any of this. Or maybe it doesn't, he just doesn't care. Because
And also-
that's just what it is. It's I'll let you go now, but it was the selling not selling team was sort of a breaking point, and I think this is a thing of you've lost a good chunk of people that actually cared about what this team did or didn't do, and even the only thing that will ever get me to consider going to a game again is, as a fan at least, is him selling. Like, if you're not going to have the games on TV, if you're not going to make it a watchable product anyway, what is there for anyone to care about what this team does or doesn't do ever again? So
I think you just spoke the sentiment of those that, because there are people that are more dedicated to the Angels than you are, Zach. And I'm not bashing you on that. I'm saying, like, so for the people that what you just said over the last 5 minutes here, think about the people that are more dedicated to them, and the people that follow us, people that listen to this podcast because they're interested in the Angels, right? Thank you for listening.
The people that still pay money to go because they have some sort of delusional hope that
right,
things will
but
be
that's
better.
the thing is what hope do they have, right? And hell, yeah, Zach Neto's great, Nolan Schaumwell's great, Christian Moore's looking great, Tyler Bremner, woohoo. This team doesn't look. When is your relief coming? When is the relief of being this just lost fan of a lost franchise? When does the relief come? I don't think it's this year. I don't know if we're playing baseball next year, but I don't think it's next year. When does the relief actually come for not only this fan, but look, I mentioned it. I don't really care about the fan base. I don't, because I care about my readers. That's what I care about, but I don't care about fans. I don't care about, but like, this sucks. I care about the fans in this situation. This sucks. This is awful. So why would You mentioned it. Why would you show up to baseball games? Why would you show up to Angels baseball games? What reason do you have? And I don't see a reason anywhere. I don't see a reason.
Like I will just sorry, I will take
Yeah.
what was a bad comment from Rob Manfred at the time, and I will apply it to this. You have other options. You don't have to go to Angel games. You can pay the freight and go to a Dodger game. You can take the drive and go to San Diego. Petco Park is lovely. There's a bunch of minor league teams in our area.
Yeah.
If you really want to go watch professional baseball,
you can
there
go
are
watch
so many.
You can go watch entertaining Angels in Rancho Cucamonga for $5. Or you could go watch the less entertaining Angels in Anaheim for $5 and sit further away. And you can pay $8 for a beer instead of 18, which I know. I will say that, hey, I will give Arte Moreno this. I still think he has the cheapest beer in baseball outside of St. Louis. So congratulations. There's your affordability. You got you can go get drunk at Angel Stadium anytime you want on a lesser dollar than it would be at Dodger.
Yeah, I think the thing that I didn't touch on a lot there too is just like the idea of what is it going to cost. Like, and this goes beyond like the roster construction part of it. We've seen him for however probably a decade, just as long as they've been losing, right? Try to do everything possible to not spend a dime of his own on Angel Stadium and the area around it.
No.
And all you have to do again is just look across the street at what the Samuelis are doing with OC Vibe and Honda Center.
Hey, excluding the 1,000 mustaches only. You need to up that number.
I'm there every day for morning skates and whatever, and the construction is constant, but there is progress, and you see this new vision of what this building in this area is going to be. It is materializing day after day after day, and you look across the street at a crumbling stadium with a crumbling franchise, and despite his showing up and being involved as much as it is, he might as well be an absentee owner. Like, he's not doing anything to meaningfully shape this franchise other than letting it die on the vine.
Now, there were some things about that report, by the way, just so you know, they did add a fresh paint job to Angel Stadium.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad that they find the big giant can of red paint to redo the A every year. Good job.
But to the comment of what does it cost to win, or what's the cost of winning? I don't know. Ask the Brewers. Ask the Rays. Ask the Guardians. Those are teams that are consistently in the playoffs, despite having payrolls $100 million less than you. They seem to have it figured out.
You know what a mid reliever? You know what a mid reliever costs? Like a middle, like average middle reliever right now costs about $5-6 million a year, right? Just a standard middle reliever, the guy at the back end of your 26-man roster. Do you know what a good development coach and a good development system cost you?
Yeah,
coach costs you about $250,000 a year, if even. I don't even think it's close to that. You know what the technology and the just financial system to build a good development system is? Couple million. Maybe you up it way up into the 20 million for a really good one, but no, it's a couple million. Yeah.
For Angel sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
For Angel fans who are curious as to why the Angels got to this point, I highly recommend looking up. It was done a few years ago. Jeff Fletcher's 3-part series on like the death of the farm system for the Angels. That 3-part series, if you can find it on the OC Register, it lays out exactly what happened to the Angels player development staff and scouting department. I won't give it all away, but essentially, after like 2010, I believe, it was pretty much all just cut in half and never replaced.
Well, I mean, the international front already literally did. It wasn't as bad as what was going on in Baltimore. Literally did not want to spend a dime on the international front. Not a dime.
And that's where you can drastically improve your team for the future for pennies on the dollar.
Look at what they're doing right now. I mean, like, their top prospects. I know who does the top 30 prospects for Baseball America and who does a handbook chapter for him. I'm a very close personal friend with that guy. More than half are the international front. More than half of the top 30 prospects came from Brian Parker in the international front. And you know what? You spent really good money when you went and hired Brian Parker. And don't blame the scouting staff here. Look at what the scouting. I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying that you did, Jack, by any means. But
I'm saying
look
it's
at
the
what.
lack of scouting staff.
But look at what Tim McElvain's done.
Yeah.
He's assessed. Between Perry and Tim McElvain, right on the domestic front, Zach Neto, Nolan Schaunwald, they got big leaguers and they got them that are there tomorrow. Tyler Bremner is probably going to throw a pitch for the Angels this year. Is it a stretch? Yes, but they're doing their job based on what is in front of them.
Is that a good thing though?
Give him
Is that
20. Sorry.
Is Tyler Brenner throwing a pitch this early a good thing though? Actually,
No, it's not a good thing. But what I'm saying is they're doing their job because they won't go spend the money to go get someone that's going to fill in for Tyler Bremner in the time frame.
Yeah,
they're not going to spend
And
money to go get the guy in front of Zach Neto. Zach Neto is an incredible success story. He should not be where he is. Zach Neto should have had his rookie season 2 years ago, not 4.
And I mean, give it 26 years, the Angels will have 26 solid players finally because they could rush all their first round picks up to the majors and they have a full roster.
Yeah,
because they're not going to improve it.
They're not
going to improve it in rounds 2 through 20 in the draft. They're not going to improve it through free agent signings. They're not going to improve it through trades. It's just going to be all first round picks rushed to the majors. So give it 26 years.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame thrown on the executive staff, the baseball department, that for a long time, there's reason why people that see this day-to-day stuff don't throw the blame on the baseball department as much as others because they see what's going on. They see what their job is and how they're handling that job. And I think that, yes, Perry Minasian, there are upgrades to Perry Minasian. There are upgrades to Tim McElvain. There are upgrades to the scouting staff and the front office. However, they're doing their job to the best of their abilities. And that's where I sit there and I'm like, yeah, like I said it like 2 podcasts ago. I thought that Perry was out at the end of the year, no matter what kind of happened, unless the Angels made the playoffs. I don't think so anymore. I think Perry's just doing his job at this point. I don't know.
Yeah. No, we just back to that last comment from Artie. Like, okay, winning is a priority to you. I don't know that I actually believe that at all.
I say
that because clearly you're not developing enough players. Like your system just isn't good enough. So you're not building from within. And if you're questioning how much it costs, well, then you're not willing to do it through free agency, at least, to any extensive degree. So then what are you actually doing to make this team start to win again? If you aren't investing in the development of players, if you aren't investing in the acquisition of players,
and not letting the not letting the baseball people that you hire do their job as baseball experts.
Yeah. Like if all that actually matters to you and if all that actually matters to you, it wouldn't matter what the cost is. And so it's clear to me, based on those comments, that what Artie cares about first and foremost is how much money does he have to spend, and he doesn't want to. So then why do you own a baseball team?
The comment I always believed, and this is from, I'm talking about 10 plus years ago, is what I would hear, is Arte Moreno understands that winning is profitable. And that's why he wants to win, is because winning is profitable. Now, keep in mind, when Arte Moreno took over this team, they were recent World Series champions. They won the AL West.
Reigning World Series champions.
Right, exactly. And not only reigning, but like they won the AL West how many years out of, like 7 of 8 years in a row, right? Close to. They made the playoffs every
5
year.
5 of 6.
Yeah, okay, sorry. So, not 7 of 8. Not 6 of 7. 8, 9. Either way, whatever. Haha. No, 5 of 6. This was a winning product. He saw profits from a winning product. So in my mind, based on what I was told 10 plus years ago, is that Arte Moreno wanted to win because he understood that winning meant money. Obviously, that's different because you know what meant money in the last 10 years was moolah from the television networks, TV deals.
Yeah, I mean, it all stems back to the name change, right?
Yeah, LA market,
more money.
Man.
That was the beginning of the end of everything, really.
That's reasonable. So, we were going to talk about Mike Trout and other things, but I think we'll save that for another day. I think we are at a point of not really caring about that.
Hour 24.
Oh yeah. So, anything else on this, guys? I mean, we're going to talk spring training a bunch here coming up. We've got weeks of spring training left. Anything else? And do we want to play the game?
Yeah, we'll
What's the
play
We'll
the
play
game.
the game, but I
We'll
think we
play the
could
game.
Yeah,
save it for
we need to
we
The
could
end on
game's
a
going to
more
give us
positive.
game's going to get us through the rest of the day. It's going to boost our
yeah
morale.
we can
I
save the
need
rest of the
to
sports stuff for next
for
week.
Yeah,
for
I
whoever's
Anything
listening. We
else?
need a
Anything else on the
positive.
Artie front before?
we
Anything
will
else?
have we'll be forced into talking about the Angels plenty over the course of the year. So I don't think we need to force ourselves to do it when there's nothing to say besides yelling about them, which I did. Apologies, Thomas, for having for what you're gonna have to do.
Oh, I can't wait.
Um,
I'm gonna revisit it, and I'm gonna have a good laugh.
at least you know where it is. At least you know.
It's
where
just
it
going to
is.
be
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it'll
just
be
going to be
easy to
Zach
find.
yelling into the camera, and then it's just like elevator music playing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show Lahaina. She's gonna think
It'll
it's
be-
funny.
I
Could be-
I don't think I've ever felt this strongly about anything in sports beyond just like how mad that made me.
I
gonna
mean,
be
you're,
really
it's
you're
funny,
right
like,
with what you say.
Like I haven't cared about the Angels in a long time, and even that was like, ugh, like that got a reaction out of me. The Angels haven't done anything in probably like 10 years that have gotten a reaction out of me, and that got a reaction out of me. And I don't even care about the team anymore.
Yeah.
Like I almost couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Like I thought it, like no, he didn't actually say that we don't care about winning. We the fans don't care about. What are you serious? No owner in sports would say that. Like even the
It's-
worst teams wouldn't say that.
It's really nice being dead inside when it comes to fandom of baseball and just really just liking baseball in general and not having a favorite team. It's really nice. It's very,
last
very nice.
last thing I'll say, for those of you that listen to the What Chaos podcast, DJ Bean always says fandom is irrational, which yes, it is, but I don't think it's irrational to have winning as your top priority to be a fan.
That's
I look the Colorado Rockies as an example of like bad baseball teams of recent. There's at least an idea that they're doing this to eventually win again, right?
eventually.
Like there's an idea that they want to
Reshape
try to
their
win.
front office a bit this year.
Like they're
It's just
not.
gonna be hard in that division,
Yeah,
but they're making an effort,
right.
kinda to an
Monfort?
extent. To an extent, I like
There's
the
at
moves
least
they
the
did to
idea
the
that
front
you
office.
He didn't say
Yeah.
what type of effort.
Yeah, effort. That's right.
It's gonna
And
be real
even if-
tough.
Even if there's an owner out there that's like, I just like having this for the cachet of it and to collect an extra check, which
Awesome.
they exist.
Yeah,
You
that's fine.
can't-
If you
can
came out and
never-
said that instead, I mean, it sucks. But if that
At least
was
he's
said,
honest.
I was gonna say, if you said I only have this because I profit from it, as opposed to the fans don't care about winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, of all the people that are involved in a baseball or any sports organization, you just cannot say that about a fan base. Can't.
Thank you for
Opening day
listening
is
to
gonna
Wing.
be a hoot. Can't wait.
Thank you for sticking around, watching Wings Like Katella this week. We know we've been out for a while and we went a little off the rails, which I think we are going to change the name to the show, change the name of the show to Off the Rails. However, we are going to stick around and play a little game and have some fun with it. So this game is called, in some degree, is it a Fall Out Boy song title or something said via text in the last 2 weeks in my phone. So, you guys can figure this one out. This is going to be fun for you. I have 8 different things for our texts that were in my phone and for our actual Fall Out Boy song titles. So, starting off, the first one. Did you see the fish I posted on Facebook? Is that a text I received or a Fall Out Boy song title?
That's got to be a
That's your
That's
text.
a text. That's a text.
You guys know me really well on that one. I
Yeah.
wanted to start you off easy. That one's pretty easy. The answer to that text was no, I did not. I have not checked Facebook in years. Let's see. Being a flat earther is hard nowadays.
Oh,
That's not a Fall Out Boy song.
No, that's gotta be a text.
that's what it makes you. That's what they want.
You
you
know
to
what the
think.
problem is, though? I don't know current Fall Out Boy songs.
That's the thing. I only know the hits. I'll go song. I'll go
I mean,
against
I
the
like-
grain. I'll go song.
I know, like everything up to like 2008, 9, whatever, but like I don't know anything post that, so
No, that's gotta be a text.
that's
That's
a
a text. That was a text. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like a
Um,
mind game of Taylor trying to like say something so ridiculous that like that Can't be.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's see this one. Hold on. I've got a dark alley and a bad idea that says you should shut up.
That's a Fall Out Boy song.
Gotta be a Fall Out Boy.
Probably Fall Out Boy song.
That is a Fall Out Boy song. Good job,
God,
guys.
that's a long title.
They all
Yeah.
are.
It was
They
that
all
era.
are. They all are. It's
Yeah.
rough. Let's see. Dershowitz isn't Satan, but he's CFO of Demon Incorporated.
That sounds like a song.
It's not a song.
Guess a song?
Nope, that's a text.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, that's a text. Speaking of Epstein files and stuff, that's
Right.
fun stuff.
I am undefeated.
I have some really stupid.
Release the
freaking
surveys.
Yeah. Do you think? Wait, sorry, no. Do you know who I think I am?
That's a song.
That sounds like a song title, but
Yeah.
again, are you playing mind games with us?
I'm
Too
going with
vague.
the song.
Gotta be a song.
That is
I'll
a
go
song.
song.
That
Yeah.
is a song. Let's see. Let's go with this one. Head first dive into Cooperstown on a bad bet.
That's a
The
song.
text.
Song.
Song.
I'm going text.
It is a song.
Damn.
Cooperstown. I knew I'd get you on it. I knew
Yeah.
I'd get you on that one. Let's see. Reinventing the wheel to run myself over.
That's a text.
That's a
That's
song.
just you watching Vancouver Canucks games.
Wow, that's fun. Thank you, Jack.
That's Zach watching Angels games.
Yeah.
No, nobody can watch Angels games. That's a lie.
What do we call?
I'm gonna go song title because that's too poetic to be a real text someone sent.
That is a song. That is a song. Jack, I love how bad Jack is at this.
I know.
It makes me really happy. Let's see. I may
I
not be
bleep
fluent,
myself.
but this one's good. I may not be fluent, but I'm pretty sure those aren't the lyrics.
Text.
Song
That's a
title.
text.
That is a text
Got one.
regarding Malo Kanohito, Immoral Rabbit. That's all I had, guys. I mean, I've got one more, but this was just a note I kind of saved. So it's obviously just a text.
I love
This was a note
Fall
for
Out Boy
USA
song
Hockey,
titles.
by the way. This was a note for women's USA Hockey. Kick so much ass, my feet stink.
Wow.
It's a good one. That's women's hockey for you. All right, guys. Let's call it a day. Anything else we got? Anything else? We played our game. We played mind games. Thomas has a great time editing today.
Yeah. Luckily we did this
Um,
early. 8:30 recording today.
Yeah. Jack Janes, what do you got to plug, man? What do you got going on this weekend?
This weekend I'll be at Great Park in Irvine on Friday night to see Harvard Westlake. And then after that, I got a sister-in-law's birthday party Saturday night. Got some babysitting duties on
Nice.
other days. So kind of chill weekend.
Oh boy, you guys can follow Jack Janes on social media at @JackJanes_. He covers a lot of things for the Sporting Tribune. Thomas Murray, what do you got going on, man?
Yeah. Well, I'll be at St. John Bosco Friday. I actually don't even know what time that starts, so I need to look that up.
It starts at 3:00.
3 o'clock, sweet. I got a new afternoon game. So I'll
I
be
have the
there.
whole notebook.
And then this weekend, well, it was Lahaina's birthday over the week when we were in Hawaii, so probably just gonna see friends, family, do some little like celebration stuff. So I'll be doing that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thomas Murray covers the Angels, Ducks, etc. for the Sporting Tribune, UCLA, including baseball at this point, Brock Chalowski and things. Zach Cavanagh, what do you got going on, man?
Yeah, it's a brutal start to the stretch schedule here for the Ducks. So every other day until my eyes fall out. Hockey Friday, Ducks Winnipeg. Connor Hellebuck, American hero, coming to town. Presidential Medal of Freedom, soon to be receiver, Connor Hellebuck. Saturday, going out at Huntington Beach with my friends, doing something. We're hanging out. I don't know. And then well, it's mostly for my girlfriend's birthday. Shout out to my wonderful girlfriend. And then Sunday more Ducks. Ducks Flames. A lot of 3 straight games of O Canada, which is the I get it. I know why people do it, but whenever you get the American NHL fans chanting USA at the Canadian team, is going to be really weird on Friday, for example, where like the Ducks have more Canadians than other, and then the Jets have an American, 2 U.S. Olympians on their roster.
And a
So
Medal of Freedom.
So who are you chanting for or against?
Medal of Freedom, Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Um,
yep. Hockey, basically.
Shout out to Jeff Pope, public address announcer for the Ontario Reign. He would sing the Canadian national anthem. He would walk out of his box and sing the Canadian national anthem every time because no one else knew how to do it. And he would ask me to do it, and I would say no because I can't sing. So I got a wedding and some baseball stuff. So you can follow Zach Cavanagh on social media at ZachCav. He covers the Anaheim Ducks for the Sporting Tribune, among other things. And that's going to call it wraps. That's all I got. I got wedding and baseball. So that's usually pretty much how it goes. I think I told you guys at some point in your life, you either have a wedding or children or funerals. I have them all. So fun stuff. I don't know what age I am. I am like one of you two. Let's
What's
get out
my
of here.
age again?
Let's call it a day. Let's get out of here. Let's go home. So have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the games and stuff and everything. Bye. Bye. Okay. See ya. Go.